Today, we're diving into the incredible story of a single family, the Alleries. Their 150-year journey is literally woven into the fabric of English history. We're going to follow their path from being quiet, rural craftsmen all the way to becoming city builders and soldiers. It's a story of ambition, massive change, and unbelievable sacrifice. So let's get into it.
You know, just like any amazing tapestry, this family's history starts with just a single thread. Their journey doesn't begin in the crazy hustle and bustle of London, but way out in the quiet countryside of Devon, where their identity was all tied up in the tailor's trade. We're going to watch them move from a world that was basically pre-industrial, right into the heart of a booming Victorian city. We'll see their ambitions grow and take shape, and then we'll see how their lives were completely turned upside down by one of the biggest conflicts in modern history. All right, so let's rewind the clock and start at the very beginning. We're in the late 18th century, out in the beautiful hills of Devon, and this is where we meet the family patriarch, a man named Samuel Allery. Samuel was what they called a Chandler, which, in a port town like Dartmouth, was a really big deal. I mean, his shop was basically the lifeblood of the local economy. He was selling everything from soap and oil to paint and groceries, all the essential stuff that kept the ships afloat and the local homes running. And get this, a single document from 1815 tells you so much about their world. When they got married, Samuel actually signed his own name on the certificate, which shows he had at least some basic education. But his wife, Elizabeth, well, she could only leave an X. Just like so many women of her time, she couldn't read or write. It's just a really powerful snapshot of how unequal things were back then. But the story doesn't stay in Devon for long. The next generation marks a huge, dramatic turn. Samuel's son, William, makes this incredibly bold move. He leaves the familiar, quiet life of Devon behind for the massive promise and, let's be real, the peril of 19th century London. And William didn't just move to the city, he completely reinvented the family trade. He became a master tailor, a highly skilled craftsman right at the center of this industrial boom. I mean, talk about a leap. It was a whole different world from selling candles in a little port town. The 1851 census for his home at 14 Russell Street just paints such a vivid picture. Okay, so first you see William, his wife Mary, and their 3 young kids. But look closer. He's also got 3 lodgers living with them, and they're all tailors. This place wasn't just a home. It was a small business, a bustling workshop, with William as the master craftsman and the boss. So as the family is putting down roots in London, a new figure enters the story, and she is, without a doubt, the anchor who holds it all together. Let's talk about the matriarch at the heart of it all, at the turn of the 20th century, Jemima Blackburn. So in 1884, Jemima marries into the family and right away takes on this absolutely monumental task. She becomes a stepmother to 5 children from her husband's previous marriage. And then over the next decade, she has 6 more sons of her own. She became the mother to a blended family of 11 kids. Just wow. And this timeline just shows you the incredible pace of her life. From 1886 to 1896, it was like clockwork. She gave birth to a son almost exactly every 2 years. This wasn't just a family anymore. It was practically a dynasty in the making. It's just a testament to her incredible strength and resilience. And this is where the story takes its most dramatic and, frankly, heartbreaking turn. That generation of boys that Jemima raised in London came of age just as the entire world was about to plunge into the Great War. Five of Jemima's 6 sons served in World War I. Just let that sink in for a moment. Nearly every son she raised went off to fight. The scale of one family's contribution and their potential for loss was just immense. And the cost of that service came quickly. Frank was wounded in 1918 during the fighting near Cambrai, a battle famous for being one of the first major tank attacks in history. His brother, Benjamin, saw action in some of the most infamous, brutal battles of the entire war, the Somme, Ypres, Passchendaele. These names are just synonymous with the absolute horror of trench warfare. And then there was Sidney. He was captured during the massive German Spring Offensive in 1918 and spent the rest of the war in a POW camp. So you have one son wounded, another who endures the hell of the trenches, and a third captured. The entire spectrum of a soldier's experience in the Great War, all happening within this one family. So after all of it, The struggle, the migration, the unbelievable sacrifice. What is the legacy of the Allery family? How do all these different threads finally come together?
Well, their story is one of profound transformation, isn't it? From just one man selling supplies in a tiny Devon village, the family grew into this London dynasty of craftsmen, entrepreneurs, and soldiers. Their personal lives directly mirrored the story of England itself over those 150 years.
But maybe the most moving summary comes from the headstone of the woman at the very center of it all, Jemima. After raising 11 children and sending 5 of her sons to war, her epitaph reads, "Your motto has always been peace. May you rest in peace." For a life that saw so much conflict, that just says everything. You know, the Allery family's journey reminds us that history isn't just about famous names and big dates. It's about ordinary people living through some truly extraordinary times. And it kind of leaves us with a question, right? Every single family has a rich tapestry of its own. So what are the stories woven into yours?